be really thoughtful about the problem and the industry and the market you're picking, because it does have an impact on just your future trajectory. A big part of it is intrinsically we wanted to do more, and there were more ways we could help our customers, more ways to impact their lives. The bigger you are, the more you have to grow to just sustain the growth rate. Growth never stops.
In this episode, I'm talking to Henry Shi, one of the co-founders of a company called Super.com, an all-in-one rewards app to earn, save, and ultimately put more money in your pocket. They've raised over $150 million from investors like Steph Curry, and they do over $150 million in revenue per year. We're going to cover many things, including number one, his thoughts on venture capital, startups, and marketing. Number two, his journey building Super and what he believes number one reason why the startup succeeded. And number three, of course, I'm going to try to figure out all the spicy details, like how much money they spend on marketing per year and how much he pays himself as one of the founders of the company. And every time he can't answer a question, as usual, we both have to take a shot of hot sauce from our sponsors, Seed Ranch Flavor Co. Wish me luck, Martians. I hope you enjoy this one. Hello, Martians. Welcome back to another episode of Marketing on Mars. I am so excited for this episode. I've been looking up to this person for a while. It's not that difficult to find him on LinkedIn. He's very active on LinkedIn. Angel investor, Forbes Under 30, EY Entrepreneur of the Year, you name it. And they even got investments from prolific investors like Steph Curry, which I'm super jealous about. Henry Shi, we got Henry Shi, the co-founder of a company called Super.com. And basically it's a super app that helps you save and help you earn through fintech, rewards, travel services, basically aiming to democratize access to rewards and savings. Henry, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, and great to be here.
So are you because I know you flew back to Waterloo. Are you still in Waterloo, or are you back to the Bay Area now?
Yeah, I live in SF. So fun fact, I have a SLA. So I try to spend as much time as possible in SF. Just so much going on with all amazing founders, investors, venture capital, innovation. So it's just been great. So I try to spend as much time possible here.
So what's the split now between,
like,
because I assume you still have family and friends back in Waterloo?
Yeah. I mean, well, I grew up in Canada, but went to Waterloo, but I spent 99% of my time in SF.
Yeah. Do you go to other cities? Because there are other places that are claiming to be the new tech hub, startup hub, but there's still nothing like SF. SF, Silicon Valley, is just still the mecca of startups.
Yeah, it's not the same. I look at the stats recently. SF had more funding and exits than the next three cities combined: New York, Boston, LA. So SF had more over the last 6 years than the next three combined.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. Okay, cool. Well, the theme of the show is we're going to start off with a shot of hot sauce to get warmed up, and over the course of the episode, I'm going to have these questions that I have not seen, and going to be asking you. Some of them will be quite spicy, and every single time you cannot answer a question, we take another shot of hot sauce. So what do you have for us? I think we sent you some hot sauce. Which hot sauce do you have?
Yeah, we got the Truffle Hound.
Okay,
and then
we got
the
that as well.
Umami Reserve.
Oh yeah, that one. I have that as well.
And then we have the Nash Soul Hot.
I don't have that, which is funny because I'm in Korea. I'm in Seoul right now, but I don't have that. But let's start off with so I think the lightest one is this one, the Truffle Hound. So
all right,
we'll start with that one. I'll put my mic down.
All right, we'll start off a little bit there.
All right, sure. How is that?
Not bad. Not bad.
Yeah, it's quite nice when you can dip it with a lot of different foods. I really like using this hot sauce. All right, let's dive into your personal life. I guess tell us a little bit about your journey. You've kind of been in the startup world for many, many years. You mentioned you started it in the Waterloo area. Maybe give us your journey, your life journey
Sure,
to
sure.
now to today. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy to share. I've been a founder for over 10 years. So this is my third company. Been building startups since probably end of high school, early college. Almost always in consumer tech. I just love building products for consumers, being able to test quickly, iterate quickly, get stuff done, ship, and just seeing the impact at scale. The fact that you can actually affect everyday customers and consumers' lives has been really exciting. So building startups for over 10 years. It was my third company. I went to Waterloo, studied computer science, internet startups, also big companies, worked at Google. We just realized that big companies weren't really for me. It's a lot of smart people, but also a lot of bureaucracy, a lot of red tape, and wanted to move faster, get stuff done. So I spent a year at Google in the Bay Area, realized that it wasn't for me. I wanted to go back to building a startup. So quit my job. I had no idea, no industry, and just a team and co-founder. And we were just iterating, building products for people, figuring things out. That was the beginning of Super.com back in 2016 when we started.
Yeah. That's incredible. You were also quoted as one of the youngest to join the next what was it, the next accelerator or next program?
Yeah, I think it's next 36 at the time.
Next 36. Yes, you were quoted to be one of the youngest. How old were you when you first joined that
Yeah, I
program?
think it was 19 at the time. I was kind of entering my sophomore year, I believe. And yeah, it was an incubator accelerator program, kind of a hybrid between leadership, entrepreneurial development, and incubator, where they give you some funding, not a lot, but a bunch of programming and content to help train and inspire the next generation entrepreneurs.
Yeah, 19 years old at the time. That's insane. So you were already in uni, you're interning already, and you already knew at that age that startups, you were going to go down the startup route. Do you remember if there was some figure or person in your life that you looked up to that kind of pushed you towards that
I
route?
don't know if I knew for sure I wanted to do a startup, be a founder necessarily, but I certainly enjoy the aspect of it. And I think there were a few transformative experiences, like doing junior achievement in high school. The fact that you can see it's like an after school program where students get together and they build a company from start to finish, incorporation to sales to wind down. And that was a great experience, just seeing the end to end of starting a business. And that was a traditional business, not a tech business. Next was probably my first experience building software as a business. It was a great learning opportunity. I made all the classic mistakes. I didn't know what I was building, didn't solve a problem, didn't make any money. And then I did a startup through the Waterloo Velocity Incubator. That was sort of a on-campus accelerator incubator for students. And that was where I learned a lot in terms of I was solving a problem, still didn't make any money. And then third time around through Super.com, now we solve a problem, make some money, and try to learn from your mistakes each time.
Yeah, I mean, you're not making just a little bit of money. I think you guys are making a lot of money, but I think you're being humble. We'll dive into all the numbers and figures in a second. But maybe one more thing before we move on. You're kind of transitioning. Are you in the transition phase out of Super.com? I know that I've been following your LinkedIn. You've been changing your role a little bit there.
Yeah, that's right. I just transitioned to the board of my company after 8 years. So now I'm on the board. Well, I was on the board, but now I'm on the board only role. My co-founder is running the company day to day, and I'm sort of supporting him at the board level. And sort of now just spending a lot of time helping founders do some angel investing, being smart people, and just seeing what's next. But no formal agenda, mostly just spending time helping folks and paying it forward in the startup community.
Yeah. You recently spoke at Harvard Business School as well. I think they made a case study about your company as well.
Yeah, that's right. We had to, so we one of the professors there we met through Next, and he was a founder of Next, and now he teaches at Harvard. And he sort of we're one of the case study that he teaches, which the case documents our journey from single vertical, single use case app to now a sort of multiple vertical, multi-use case app, and super app. So that was the case study.
Yeah, no, that's great. Okay, so let's get into the numbers a little bit. Let's get the audience excited because I've done a little bit of digging and research. I kind of have an idea, but I wanted to hear it from you. So how large is Super.com? Like, how much have you guys raised in total? and what kind of revenue are you guys doing today in 2024?
Yeah, so we're about 250 people now. We've raised over $150 million of funding. We do about 50 million total users, do over $1 billion in sales here, and actually over 150 million in revenue. So that's been a great journey growing the business from zero to where it is today.
Yeah, that's great. And you guys have also received some investments from some pretty big investors. Can you name some of the more well-known, high-profile investors that are on your cap table?
Sure. Yeah, our biggest investor is Inovia. I don't know if folks know Patrick Wichette, who is the ex-CFO of Google. He leads the growth team at Inovia, and they're one of our biggest investors.
Okay, we're gonna move over to a segment that I really like called This or That, and then we'll jump back into Super and how you guys do your marketing and all that. But This or That, I'll give you two options: this or that, and you just choose one. And if you can't answer, we'll take another shot of hot sauce. All right. Always be 5 minutes late to meetings, or always be the first to arrive?
Depends, external or internal meetings.
Just overall.
I
Like
would
an average.
say probably be late. I think my track record is probably 2 minutes late. So yeah, probably the being a little bit late versus being too early.
Okay. Never use a smartphone again, or never use a credit card again? Ooh, I like this one.
I never use a credit card. I mean, the smartphone I couldn't live without. There's so much you could do.
Yeah.
Whereas credit card, you can use a debit card. That's fine.
Yeah, you can also insert your credit card into your smartphone. So
Right,
that makes
Apple
it
Pay
easy.
or whatever.
Yeah. Attend a very important meeting in pajamas, or work the entire day from a crowded coffee shop with slow Wi-Fi.
Probably attend a meeting in pajamas. I mean, I'm wearing hoodies and sort of khakis anyway, so it's close enough.
Yeah. All right. Hot sauce on ice cream or ketchup in coffee?
Probably hot sauce and ice cream. I think I don't really like coffee, so
And then lastly, name one other super app that you'd recommend saving with outside of super.com. Your favorite, your second favorite app.
For which geography? Like US or international or
Your favorite geography.
Oh, that's hard. I'll probably say Cash App. I think Cash App is an amazing app that
Oh my
is
goodness. You answered that one.
very simple, very easy for folks to use, and it's just a great product.
All
We
right.
know the team there, and it's just an amazing product.
Well, because you were able to answer that spicy question, I will take a shot of hot sauce. So I'll just stick with the truffle again, and I'll do a quick shot. All right. Hold on. I'm going to take off this. I'll take off this scarf. It's getting hot. Whew. All right. Okay. Yeah, the second time really it's starting to accumulate flavor. All right. So let's talk a little bit about Super app. So I've kind of mentioned the one-liner on Super app, super.com, but maybe if you can explain a little bit more about Super, like what is your one-liner for super.com, and what are your what ways are you guys making money right now?
Sure. So it's a all-in-one app to help customers save and earn money. Sometimes the analogy we like to use is like an online Costco. So you sort of have a membership and you have many ways to save, or it's sort of American Express for everyone else. People who are lower income, lower credit, help give them access, save money, earn money, build credit, etc. How we make money through a variety of ways because we're a all-in-one app, whether that's marketplace margin, interchange, membership, ad tech, affiliate, transaction fees, sort of a combination of that. But we also help save the customers a lot of money, offering discounts, rewards, benefits, cashback, credit building, etc.
So out of all those different channels, what in terms of revenue split, like what's your top performing the leaning?
Yeah, I'd say it depends. So there's revenue and there's also use case. Some use cases have more frequency, lower
Mm-hmm.
margin. Some cases are, some places are higher frequency, lower margin. Some use cases are lower frequency, higher margin. I'd say it's pretty well diversified. The bulk, no, sorry, it's pretty well diversified. A lot of it is marketplace margins. A lot of it is membership. A lot of it is transactional. A lot of it is affiliate ad tech. So it's a combination.
So it's pretty evenly split, 33% marketplace, 33%
Not
membership, 33.
not
But
33 necessarily, but
yeah,
it's pretty well diversified. It's not like 90-10.
okay, got it. Sweet. And in terms of marketing now, I know you're starting to use LinkedIn from a personal standpoint quite a bit, but for Super, I assume you guys are still very aggressive in terms of because I've seen some of your posts. You guys internally have a lot of aggressive numbers that you want to hit. What channels are you guys using to try to grow more membership and more users on Super?
Yeah, it's pretty much all the channels because when you're a consumer B2C app at this scale,
Yeah.
right, there's no one has any like crazy channels. So it's really just a bunch of experimentation with different intent, different copy across all the channels like Google, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, like referral, organic, repeat, all the above.
Yeah. And would you consider? We talked about LinkedIn quite a bit. LinkedIn is more for businesses, but do you guys spend
LinkedIn is
any
more for
time?
business. No, we use LinkedIn for recruiting, but not for our customers.
Okay, cool. Now, so you mentioned a lot of ads: Google, Facebook, TikTok, IG. Those are a lot of ad spend, and also you guys do a lot of organic. Are there any other channels outside of social that you guys play in?
Yeah, like affiliates and marketing and stuff like that, right? So basically, it's really all the channels, maybe except for like radio, but yeah.
Yeah, events as well. You guys
No,
participate in
it's more
events, or?
direct to consumer. It's all direct to consumer and scalable.
Yeah. Okay, and if you were to rank these buckets, Google, Facebook, TikTok, IG, and then affiliates, which of these channels kind of perform the best to the worst? If you were
It
to,
really depends on the use case because we're a super
yeah.
app or all-in-one app. It depends on the use case. Some use cases work much better for Google. Some work better for social. Some work better for affiliate. Some work better for sort of organic referral, etc. So it really depends on the use case. That's the benefit of having an all-in-one app is we can be more have better fits towards certain channels based on the use case and intent.
Okay, let's start with the first use case. You guys first started off in the hotel space, and right, that's how you guys first
Sure.
started off, and then the Harvard Business study also talks about how you guys transitioned out of that, which we can get into, and your guys' reasoning for that. But with that use case, what would be the top if you were to rank
I
them?
think, in terms of the travel use case, right? There's certain markets that work better because for travel, you really need strong intent, right? So you have to want to go somewhere. So certain channels with higher intent work better, like certain partners or affiliates or search, etc. So it just depends on the intent of the user.
So nowadays, okay, so nowadays you're doing a ton of things. What is your kind of routine nowadays, or your daily routine now that you're kind of transitioning out of super.com and doing more kind of advisory and helping other startups? You're also doing some angel investing. So
Yep.
what does your split between your day look like between looking at deals and everything else that you're doing?
Yeah. I mean, it's busy in many ways, and sometimes even busier than before. But the good news is there's no like OKRs or deadline, so it's more as staying intellectually curious. But yeah, definitely spend, as much time sort of just staying in the scene, meeting founders, helping founders, talking about different strategies for growth, hiring, scaling, because I've been fortunate to see the 0 to 1, 1 to 10, 10 to 100. So really spend a lot of time helping founders, do some angel investing, also with other VCs investors as well, sharing deal flow ideas, and a lot of time learning from other people, reading different like papers, resources. A lot of time just staying intellectually curious, learning, and then kind of seeing what's next, but uh, no formal timeline or agenda.
Yeah, yeah. Any super exciting startups that you've been keeping your eye on recently, or
Oh,
any?
there's
Yeah,
so many in SF. So it's
so
like,
many.
yeah, so many. Every day you hear some incredible founders and stories and companies.
Any like one specific example?
Uh, Honestly, there's so many because they're just it's a city of startups, right? I mean, I just recently invested in a company. Um, I think yeah, there's like doing AI radiology. Benchmark just did their Series A, so it's great founder and team and sort of a big space. But there's so many great people and builders and sort of companies ideas.
Yeah, yeah. AI. That seems to be that's kind of nowadays when a lot of people think AI, they're thinking like ChatGPT only, but there's so many other use cases, and you mentioned one. I recently met a founder that is robotics is pretty big nowadays. Robotics and AI and humanoids and all that. Do you look into that space quite a bit?
A little bit, yeah. There was a company doing AI manufacturing automation, but then there's so many. There's one doing like AI autonomous sort of heavy machinery. There's just so many.
Yeah. And what's like one thing that you do every day, no matter how busy you are? Like you just got to do this one thing.
Just communicating with people. Like there's so much of it is a relationship, right? Relationship building. So I spend a lot of time on just email, SMS, text, message, etc. Just the communication, the network of people.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the SF space is pretty prolific for that too. People are always constantly networking. Um, oh no, one of our audience members asked, "What about outside of working? What's one thing that you do every single day outside of
Yeah, I
working?"
mean, outside of working, I mean, I don't know if there's anything I do every single day outside of working, but I do spend a lot more time playing pickleball now that I have more time on the board. So that's been fun. It's a good way to get together. It's quite social. Anybody can play and you have a good conversation. So it's kind of like golf for me, but you don't have to be good at it and you don't need to spend like half a day golfing. So it's a
Yeah,
great sort of social activity.
yeah. Actually, fun fact: when I was out in SF this last summer, I went to a pickleball court in Palo Alto, and they're so friendly. Like you can literally go
Yes.
to the courts, right? You know this, Henry. Like you go to the court with one paddle. You don't
Yep.
even have to bring a friend, and
Yes.
then you'll just get thrown into all these different groups,
Yes.
and it's
Yes.
so
Exactly.
social, right? It's
Yes.
people of
Exactly.
all skill levels,
Oh
so
yeah,
super
every skill
social.
level and sort of age range and etc.
Yeah, try doing that with a tennis racket and see what happens. Walk on the court by yourself and see what happens. But
Right.
yeah, I love pickleball. It's such a perfect sport for a social city like SF. Um, okay, and for you, you see so many different um, different ideas. Do you, I think in previously we've like AI has was so hot for 2 to 3 years. Do you feel a slowdown in investments and excitement for AI? Is it moving more towards other different areas? Or what are you seeing from your time in this space?
No, I think it's, if anything, it's still just as hot, if not hotter. I mean, I think maybe the bubble might burst at some point next year, but for now, it's still incredibly hot. It's kind of a tale of two cities. If you're an AI startup, right, and you're a good team, good space, X OpenAI, whatever, people are chasing you left and right for crazy deals, term sheets and valuations. If you're a non-AI startup not doing AI, it's sort of, the post tech correction era still, it's hard to get traction and notice. So it's really just a tale of two cities, and AI is still as hot as ever.
Still as hot as ever. Awesome. Okay, we're gonna move over to another quick little segment, just a rapid fire round. So we have 5 questions for you. Quick question, quick answer. All right, first question. I like this one. One meal for the rest of your life. What is it? What's that meal?
Oh, huh. Probably some sort of like protein bowl or power bowl or something. It's just like all the ingredients. You got your veggies and your carbs and your proteins, and it's like pretty healthy and just gets a comprehensive meal and just eat it. I pretty much eat that every day anyways. So
Okay, if you could be in any movie universe, and I guess the question is like, if you could live in one of these movie universes, which one would you pick?
I'll probably like Marvel, 'cause such a big universe and it has parallel universes, so you can always pick your own adventure.
And then which character would you be in that movie?
Oh, that's so there's so,
So
many
many.
characters.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's so
so
many.
many. I don't know, maybe Iron Man, because he's a smart guy and he's kind of a tech person and he's pretty cool, can build stuff. So
I could see that.
yeah.
I could see that the Asian Tony Stark. I could totally see that. Yeah. Who's the most famous? Oh, this one's. I think I might already know, but who's the most famous person you've ever met?
Most famous person? Probably Steph Curry, because he's one
Steph
of our
Curry.
investors. Okay, that kind of worked out. Yeah, so super low key, down to earth guy. He actually visited our office back in 2019, so it's pretty cool and to have him spend some time with our employees, and it was a great experience.
What did you guys actually go hang out? Did you play any ball with him? Did you shoot some hoops?
We didn't play any ball, but he came by our office, took some questions, said hi to a lot of folks, and met a lot of employees. So it was a really fun experience for everybody.
Nice. That's so cool. That must have been pretty surreal. I mean, Steph still today, still a huge superstar, and he still probably has a few years left. Are you a pretty big basketball fan?
Yeah. Well, okay. I mean, yeah, definitely. I think he's still he spends a lot more time playing basketball now. He doesn't really do investing anymore, but still, definitely still at the top of his game.
Yeah, and he's also really good at golf. If you ever,
Yeah, that's right.
are you a golfer? Do you play any golf?
No, it's hard. I know you're in the background, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm literally on a golf similar, but I'm yeah, it's such a hard sport. You gotta play so much. Okay, last couple of questions. I think these are quite spicy. Most difficult partner you've had to deal with in the last year?
In terms of business partner?
Yeah, so it's quite spicy.
I mean, I'll give a half answer because I think it's interesting. It's when you work with partners who have a sort of unilateral control, aka monopoly over certain things, right? And then it's hard because just by definition, and that's why that's why there's the FTC and things like that. So I won't name names, but you can imagine certain partners who have a lot of monopolistic power. I'll take a hot shot. I'll take a hot sauce with that, but I think it's.
I'll deal with you. I'll deal with you. That's a fair thing.
All right. I'll wait for you.
Did you just do the umami, or did you do the yeah? Thoughts on the umami. This one's
good.
my
That was
favorite.
good. It is very umami.
Yeah, it's a little spicy when you do a bit. I know you have a little bit of a cold here, but thanks for being a soldier and
It's all good.
What's one industry trend that you think everyone should stop obsessing over? It's just a little too much.
What's
maybe in
one
your industry
trend that everyone should stop obsessing over? Interesting. This one, I have a spicy answer, which is kind of interesting, is I think people look at absolute benchmarks a little too much, right? People ask me, oh, what's a good sort of, LTV to CAC number? What's a good retention metric? What's a good ROAS number? And really, it varies depending on your business, right? And there are lots of businesses who build very big and successful businesses with different numbers. Like take retention, for example, right? Like gaming companies have traditionally, if you look at a traditional metric, terrible retention, but they have whales who spend so much money that they're able to generate hundreds of millions and not billions in revenue and profit because of these whales, right? So is that a good business or a bad business? Well, it depends how you ask, right? But if you were to ask, hey, does my company have a good benchmark retention? It really depends on your use case. Is it 1 day, 7 day, 1 month, 6 month, 12 month? What's the use case? What's the frequency?
Mm-hmm.
What's the sort of intent of the user? How much do they spend? So really, I think people obsess a little bit too much over absolutes and benchmarks versus just a foundational core of what makes a good, profitable, scalable business.
I love that. And I guess I think now that you're kind of shifting away from the founder lens of looking at things and more from an investor lens, you have to think about this even more because there's so many companies with so many different data points that you got to look at.
Right.
Um, and yeah, that's super interesting. So it sounds like you sound like you're very data driven. So
Yeah.
what is your approach to investing? Are you more like let's benchmark everything across the whole data, or are you more like a feel kind of thing? Like I just kind of
Right.
have this intuition.
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, I think for seed investing, it's quite different, and especially angel investing, right?
Yeah.
Most of it is based on the people. For me, it's about investing in great founders, people who have a strong talent, experience, passion, conviction, never give up. And yeah, oftentimes I see, and you hear a lot of people say this, is the best investments were actually not the companies that they thought were the best. The companies were the founders who just were relentless and scrappy and hustled and figured things out and pivoted. And some of the companies that were the most exciting, the most hype, were not always the best investments because they were overpriced, etc. So really, for me, it's about the people, investing in the people, the relationship, the team, and trusting that amazing people will figure things out.
Yeah, I mean, take Super, for example. You guys were historically mostly travel, and then COVID hit, so there wasn't any travel anymore. And was that like the catalyst for you guys to transition and start thinking more broader market, or were you guys thinking about this already, and COVID just kind of forced you guys to have to push it
I think
faster?
it was part of it for sure, but also probably a big part of it is intrinsically we wanted to do more, and there were more ways we could help our customers, more ways to impact their lives, and just travel. Travel is fine, but people, the average person travels once, twice a year, and there's a lot more ways to help our customers who are lower income, lower credit, help them save money, build credit, get access in a more higher frequency way.
Yeah, that's super cool. Oh, and where do you see Super.com 5 years down the road?
Yeah, that's how it's
What do you
hard to
think?
predict because we're only 8 years old, but
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think for us, it's just continue to grow, focus, more ways to help our customers. Maybe go public within the next 5 years, depending on how the markets are and how sort of
Mhm.
the market sentiment is. But just continue to grow, stay true to our mission and focus, and helping our customers save and earn more money.
Yeah. And are there any global expansion plans?
Yeah, there's some, but I think there's a big enough of an opportunity just the US already. And there's a lot of stuff we do with money movement that requires like a bank partner and certain regulations. So
Yeah.
it's sort of been our main focus on the US market.
Yeah. Look, we have if we were to look at our audience, we have probably 25% of our audience members are executives, and then we have another pretty same number that are founders and entrepreneurs. So for the entrepreneurs that are listening today and they're listening to your journey and and maybe they're just getting started, what kind of advice would you give to these early stage? You talked about the 0 to 1. The 0 to 1, a lot of people would argue, is the hardest part of the startup journey. Obviously, there's different challenges in different stages of a startup, but what kind of advice would you give to the 0 to 1 entrepreneur that are just starting today, whether they're B2B or
Um,
B2C?
yeah, I'd say, a startup is hard, but it never gets easier. So in some sense, some ways it gets easier, but many ways it does not. Right. So 0 to 1 is hard, but even after PMF, it's still hard because you have to keep
Yeah.
growing. Right. And the bigger you are, the more you have to grow to just sustain the growth rate. So for example, now if we launch a new product, right, and we do $1 million in revenue, right, that's not good enough. Whereas if you're a startup coming out of IC, if you do 1 million, that's amazing, right? You might be the top of your class. So really it's the skills keep getting bigger, and the strength doesn't get easier because you have to keep growing. The growth never stops. But I would say advice to 0 to 1 founders. There's obviously the classic like talk to customers, iterate, test lean, test hypotheses, etc. But maybe one thing that's a little bit less common or people talk about less is be really thoughtful about the problem in the industry and the market you're picking, because it does have an impact on just your future trajectory, right? Because there's a certain sort of laws of physics within your industry that you just can't escape, whether it's in terms of TAM or customer behavior or competition or comps. And there's just certain industries where it's hard. You can make money, but it's hard to get a talent, to get investors excited. And travel is one of them, right? Like it's really hard. Investors hate travel, for example, and the comps aren't great, and it's dominated by certain duopolies, and customers are not that loyal. So I think a lot of founders, I would encourage to spend a bit more time thinking about the market. I mean, you don't want to overthink it because then you'll do nothing. But if you don't think about the market, then you might realize 3 years in that you're like, wow, I built a great company in a shitty market, and there's a certain ceiling or a cap on some of that.
Yeah. It's so hard, right? 1 out of 13 startups succeed. So which means the other 12, would you say it's still 1 to 13 ratio?
Well, it depends what the definition of success. But I think it's fairly possible to get like pre-seed, seed, seed, even Series A, but to get like a true exit where it's truly returning substantial capital to the investors, the founders, the employees, that is incredibly hard.
Yeah. Well, what percent of, if you were to guesstimate, what percent of startups, like out of 10, like how many of them would make it to seed stage? What would be your guess nowadays?
Make it to seed, or
make it to the seed stage? Yeah.
Oh, I mean, that's pretty straightforward. I think with enough hustle and determination and iteration, I think most founders, if they really wanted to, could push for a certain amount of seed funding. Doesn't mean an amazing seed, doesn't mean like, Sequoia is going to invest, but I think with enough hustle and determination and just iteration, most founders can get there. Now, a lot of founders give up, or they lose faith, or they lose patience, but I think most founders can get to seed if they wanted to. Again, it doesn't mean they'll exit, it doesn't mean they'll make money, it doesn't mean it's not all sunshines and rainbows, but I think they can get to seed.
Yeah. And you mentioned talk to customers. Everyone says that. That's like the most important thing.
Exactly.
You gotta know their pain points, and you gotta work with them and build all your features around them. Have you experienced, because you guys are a B2C play? I mean, it doesn't get easier whether B2C or B2B, but what was your guys' hack, like early days, and how did you guys keep a pulse on these consumers that are using your guys' app?
Right. Yeah, I mean, in the early days, I mean, we always sort of live by that. If you sort of follow Paul Graham or YC, right? It's basically just do 2 things: talk to customers and ship product. And we always live by that. And there's actually, we got lucky in the sense of it was a chatbot app, so customers were directly chatting with us, and I was a human sort of bot on the other side.
Yeah.
So I could see every single message, and you can get a very good pulse on the customer's feedback through that. So definitely, I'd say that for us was just a great way to keep a pulse on the customers, because we were just chatting with them when they were chatting with us.
And was it just, you were just constantly on there, or would you schedule blocks like for at least 30% of my day I have to be on that chat?
Yeah, we were constantly on there back then, because it was kind of like human in the loop, right? So we get back to customers and manually send them deals. And now we have a whole team of like user research and product folks and designers, and we have qualitative, quantitative survey feedback, reviews, voice to customer. And we still spend time talking to customers. Sometimes like I'll get an email complaint, and I'll pick up the phone and just call the customer and hear them out and understand what's going on, right? So definitely you have all these tools and people and resources, but also you spend time yourself, so boots on the ground, and really understanding the customer as well.
Yeah, that's amazing. Okay, cool. I think we did have one hot sauce question that our audience member wanted to ask you, and that is, at the peak, how much were you making as the co-founder? How much were you kind of paying yourself at the peak?
Yeah, I'll take a hot sauce for that, but it's actually not that much. And also, this is all sort of market comp benchmarked. So
Yeah.
there's a whole comp committee that's run by some folks in the board and certain sort of HR folks, and then we go through this benchmarking process based on similar industry size around valuation companies, and just spit on a number, and that's my comp. So it's not like it's a pretty rigorous process, and it's fine, but it's not like crazy.
$1 million.
No, definitely not. I think most people do startups, for the passion, for the sort of for the love of the game, for the entrepreneurial journey, and maybe the eventual upside through equity. But the base certainly is not the reason I think most true founders do a startup.
Exactly. Yeah, I would say the same. Anyways,
Awesome. Yeah, cheers to that.
yeah, I gotta cheers to the startup journey. I got the I got the umami.
Oh, okay. I got the other slightly hotter one, but
Yeah. Okay, well, we're nearing the end. Usually, what we like to do at this stage, wow, it kind of stays in your throat. Usually at this stage, for listeners that have made it this way through, clearly they're interested in your background. I think there's something wrong with my voice, but if they made it all the way here, they're interested in your background. So I like to take this time. This is my favorite part of the show. Is just to dive into your background and what made Henry Henry. Let's go back even before you joined Next 36, even before you got into uni. What was life like for you growing up? Did you have a lot of entrepreneurial family members around you that kind of inspired you throughout the journey, or what was like life growing up like for you, like as a young child?
For sure. Yeah, I grew up in a couple of different places, and like I lived in the UK, Japan, China. I grew up mostly in Canada. A pretty fairly middle class family. My parents were engineers, and no one really entrepreneurial business in my family. And I think it really is just a combination of experiences. Probably junior achievement had a really big impact. That was in high school, and it was really my first foray into even just starting a company, what it's like to, start with nothing, an idea, incorporate, do sales, marketing, inventory.
Can you explain what that program was?
Yeah,
for
junior
people that
achievement,
don't
for
know.
those who
Yeah.
don't know, is sort of after school program in high school, where it's a nationwide program where the corporate sponsors will get a bunch of students together after school, and then they'll work on starting a company from scratch to liquidation, all within a school year. Right, so students get together in September, they get together, they come up with ideas, they vote on certain roles, CEO, president, etc., and then they'll sort of make a product, do sales, do the sort of inventory accounting, and then liquidate the shares at the end.
What was your role? What was your role
I
in that group?
think I was IT the first year, and that was president or CEO next year. And yeah, it was just a great experience, starting from scratch, where everyone sort of buys shares in the company, you contribute money, you take down monies, and then you build products and you sell them. Well, back then it was like gift bags, and then you liquidate at the end. So yeah, it's just a really learning opportunity, a great learning opportunity, and that was kind of my first foray in entrepreneurship. And then obviously through university, through college, through internships at startups, I entered in a YC startup, and that was a great formative experience as well. I just really fell in love with entrepreneurship, building products and kind of creating things that otherwise wouldn't have been created without you.
Yeah. What school did you go to?
I went to John Fraser, it's like a public school, and then Waterloo for college.
Yeah, it's incredible. And so your parents were engineers, middle class. I think that's kind of how middle class. That I think that's a good starting point. So, some founders start lower than that, but you had like a pretty decent, I guess, foundation. Were your parents mechanical engineers, or what kind of engineers were they?
Yeah, my dad was an aerospace engineer, so he designed airplane engines, which I always say was like true engineering.
That's true engineering.
Not like sort of pixel engineering. And my mom was sort of computer system analyst, database.
Okay. Okay. And what kind of traits do you think you picked up from your mom versus your dad?
Oh, it's hard to describe exact attribution because it's probably a
Just no
mixture,
perfect
but
attribution.
yeah. Probably just a combination of curiosity, intellectual rigor, um, I don't know, determination, conviction, and yeah.
What do you guys usually growing up when you were a kid? What was the conversation at the around the dinner table like? Were they trying to
Uh,
teach you some things, or were they trying to get you into piano and all that? Like
no,
my
not really,
parents were.
actually. Yeah, I didn't really do piano or anything. I played like guitar, but I was never that good at it. Didn't,
Nice. I
yeah,
played guitar too. Nice.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's been a long time. I think we're just we're very supportive and didn't really, force anything. And I was pretty fortunate to have big grades and studied pretty hard and able to explore a lot of different areas, different extracurriculars.
That's awesome. Well, Henry, it's been a pleasure talking to you and just kind of learning about your background and how you think about entrepreneurship, and especially now that you're an angel investor, just kind of seeing how what kind of things you're looking at. Maybe before we jump out, is there anything that you're working on right now that you kind of want to plug, or anything you want to say to the audience before we wrap up?
No, I think it's all good. I think it's all good. So yeah, thanks for taking time, and it's fun doing this with y'all. And appreciate everyone else for tuning in.
Yeah, well, enjoy the hot sauce that I sent you, and I will be back in SF in February. We'll be hosting a couple of poker nights for founders, but I'll let you know when I'm back in the Bay Area. It seems like you're like 90% of the time there, so
Yeah,
we'll
exactly.
try to link up. All right,
That's good.
thank you everyone
great
for
to
listening.
chat. Yeah, take care.